Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Lore Mistress Project. Today, we're going to do a little bit of tinfoil hat speculation regarding the one and the only Arthas Menethil. First off, I'd like to go ahead and recap what we already know. So we know that when Arthas was defeated atop Icecrown Citadel, his father came out of Frostmourne, and he says, "Father, I see only darkness." And then he dies. However, thanks to the Afterlives trailer for Uther, we know that Uther and Devos were the Kyrian who came to usher Arthas into his afterlife. Now, instead of taking Arthas to the Arbiter, Uther threw him into the maw, calling it justice. If you've played any of the Kyrian quest chain, you get to experience that whole ushering somebody into the afterlife yourself, which is kind of nifty. Now, we know now Arthas is somewhere in the maw. Whether or not he chose to become, allied with the jailer or not, we just don't know. We haven't seen him, and I highly doubt that he's one of the many souls that we have rescued for our covenants. It just doesn't feel like that would be an epic enough send-off for somebody like Arthas and his soul. So, could Arthas still appear in 9.2? I reckon he could. I reckon he's going to show up in the raid. I'm going to give you a couple of different scenarios, and I'd be happy to hear the things that you have to say about it as well. So first off, I thought when I was first writing this all down, perhaps Arthas was going to be a boss in the raid for 9.2. Now, that was last night, and today Wowhead has done a whole bunch of data mining and shown that that is not the case, because now we know the names of the bosses. That's cool. It's good to know that we can cross one of our speculations off the list. The other thing that Arthas could appear in, is he could actually be a secret mythic-only phase as part of the jailer fight. Now, I've picked the jailer fight rather than, say, the Anduin fight, because even as of 9.0 and the Sire Denathrius, we were still seeing mythic-only phases. And I feel like that's something Blizzard could easily do for Arthas. Whether we have to show up and, save Arthas or defeat him is neither here nor there. I'm not 100% sure what that would look like, just that he would be a part of that fight. Now, I did have this kind of funky idea, actually, that maybe the jailer's aware that Anduin isn't quite under his control as much as he would like. And as such, maybe he's taken this Arthas soul that he's had that's been under his control until the very end, and he's done what they did, like Gul'dan did with the Death Knights originally, and shoved Arthas' soul into Anduin's body so that there's more than one soul. And he's planning on juicing up the Arthas soul to completely take over Anduin's body, because Anduin is not as completely under the domination magic as the jailer thinks. That takes me to the next potential option, is that Arthas is an important part of the Anduin fight and helps us free him. Now, one of the many ways I can see this happening is that perhaps Anduin is being dominated and told to use any and all souls nearby to power up. And maybe one of those souls that Anduin has consumed is Arthas. And perhaps maybe then we have to go into like a twin mirror realm, and there's Arthas on one side and Anduin on the other, and kind of like the mythic Denathrius phase, where some players were in a twin mirror realm, and like some people will be saving Arthas and some people will be damaging Anduin. I mean, we've seen that a couple of times in the past. And being as both Anduin and Arthas are blonde hair kings, or princes before he became a king, I think that really has a lot of potential there. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. But again, I do think that there's an awful lot of potential there for that. I think that could be a lot of fun. So, going on to the next point of view is, last but not least, maybe Arthas sacrifices his soul to help Anduin be released from the jailer. Now, look, I don't know how that would happen, whether or not, at the end of the Anduin fight, perhaps we're sitting there and Anduin is struggling to break free of the domination magic, and there's this thing where somehow Arthas's soul has been involved, or this echo of Arthas, and Arthas says, "I will help you," and he does some sort of razzmatazz death magic and breaks Anduin free. I don't know. It is a possibility. And it would be kind of also an additional redemption arc on top of what I suspect they're going to do with Sylvanas for Arthas. So that's really it. Three or four different bits of speculation as to whether or not we're actually potentially going to see Arthas in 9.2. Look, I really feel that if they don't do anything with Arthas, that it is going to be a massive, massive disservice to the character and to the character's fan base. When you talk to people about their favorite World of Warcraft expansions, inevitably one of the top ones is always Wrath of the Lich King. It was a wonderful expansion. It had so many great memories for me. And I feel like, again, they would be doing this massive disservice, especially because people have joked about Shadowlands being Wrath 2.0. I mean, think about how cool it would be during the Anduin fight. We've seen screenshots of Sylvanas, Uther, and Jaina there. Like, these are people that have been completely impacted by Arthas in his life. I mean, Jaina is Arthas's ex-fiance. Sylvanas, I mean, we all know what he did with Sylvanas. Uther was killed by him, and Uther was his mentor. I just think that there are some great opportunities there for Blizzard to actually potentially just really finish off that storyline and give everyone some of the closure that they potentially need. So that's it. It could lead to some really interesting in-game conversations. And it'd be hilarious if they don't do any of this. And Arthas is just like this free-floating spirit that's like haunting Uther and Jaina and Sylvanas. Like, how hilarious could that be? Why are you haunting me? Anyway, with the 9.2 PTR coming out soon after the US Thanksgiving, we'll hopefully find out a little bit more, and I really hope we do see him. I don't think his story's finished, and I think it's important for us that we do have that opportunity to experience the Arthas quest chain in its entirety. Until then, be good to each other and have a blessed day.